reporter stands up during Bruce Lee's live television interview and asks, "Why don't you go back to China where you belong?" The studio freezes. Cameras keep rolling. Bruce looks at him for 3 seconds, then delivers a 10-second response that doesn't just silence the reporter. It exposes the racism Hollywood has been hiding for decades. And what that reporter does 15 years later at Bruce's funeral reveals the real power wasn't in Bruce's word. It was in his grace. New York City, December 1971. The Pierre Berton Show. Prestigious talk show. Intelligent host. Thoughtful conversation. Distinguished guest. This isn't entertainment fluff. This is serious television. Cultural discussion. Ideas. Philosophy. The kind of show that matters, that influences, that shapes discourse. Bruce Lee sits across from Pierre Berton. This is Bruce's first major North American television appearance since gaining recognition. He's been grinding in Hollywood for years. Small role, sidekick part, villain role, never the hero, never the lead, always the exotic other, the inscrutable oriental, the dragon lady's brother, the kung fu master who exists to make white heroes look good. Bruce is tired of it, frustrated, ready to speak truth. The interview has been going well. 30 minutes of substantive conversation. Berton asking smart questions about martial arts philosophy, about Eastern versus Western thinking, about Bruce's approach to teaching, about his vision for bringing authentic Asian representation to cinema. Bruce is articulate, thoughtful, passionate. He's making a case, building an argument, showing the audience that he's not just a martial artist. He's a thinker, a philosopher, an artist with vision. The studio audience is engaged. About 100 people. Television executive, journalist, cultural commentator, New York intellectual type. They're listening, really listening. Some taking notes, some nodding along. Bruce is winning them over, showing them something they haven't seen before. An Asian man who refuses to play the stereotype, who demands to be seen as fully human, fully American, fully deserving of leading role. Then a man stands up in the back row, 50 years old, white, dressed in a suit, press ID hanging around his neck. His name is Richard Walsh, an entertainment reporter for a mid-range newspaper. He's been in the business for 30 years. He's seen trends come and go. He's watched Hollywood evolve, or try to evolve. He represents the old way of thinking, the old gatekeeper, the old racism disguised as industry wisdom. Walsh raises his hand. He doesn't wait to be given the floor. He just starts talking, loudly, aggressively, interrupting. "Mr. Lee, I have a question," he says. Berton looks annoyed because that's not how his program worked, but the cameras are rolling. Live broadcast. He can't stop. He can only direct it. "Please wait," he says. Walsh interrupts him. Louder, he said. "Why are you here? Why are you trying to force yourselves into American cinema? Asians can't be leading actors. Audiences won't accept that. You're wasting everyone's time. Why don't you go back to China where you belong? Make films there. Stop trying to change what American audiences want." The studio fell completely silent. Hundreds of people held their breath. This wasn't a question. This was an attack. Racism wrapped in industry jargon. What was whispered quietly is now being voiced loudly. What people whisper in Hollywood offices but never say publicly. Until now. Until this moment. Until Walsh decided to say what others were thinking. Bruce doesn't react immediately. He doesn't get angry or yell. He just looks at Walsh. 3 seconds of eye contact, direct, calm, measured, understanding. Bruce had heard this countless times before, in meeting, at audition, in conversations with agents, producers, and directors. "You're talented, but you're too Chinese. We can't cast you as the lead. The audience won't connect with you. Maybe you'll play the maid, the villain, the exotic, mystical guy." He'd heard it all, but never this directly, never this openly, never been attacked on live television. Bruce takes a deep breath. He composes himself, like a martial artist preparing for a fight. But this fight isn't physical, it's verbal, intellectual, the most important fight of his career, because millions are watching, because this moment defines something, because his reaction will either reinforce cliches or shatter them. Bruce says calmly and clearly, "I was born in San Francisco. I'm American. Where were you born?" Walsh stutters. "No, I was born in New York, but," he says. Bruce interrupts him. "So we're both American. We were both born here. We both have the right to pursue our dreams. The difference is, you see my race. I see your ignorant." The audience holds their breath. Some applaud, some sit frozen. The cameras keep rolling. Berton looks mesmerized. This is a golden moment in television history. This is a moment that will be rebroadcast for decades to come. If you've ever had to defend your right to exist somewhere, leave a comment. This is that moment for Bruce and for the millions of people watching. Bruce continues, "You ask me why I don't go back to China. I've never lived in China. My family is from Hong Kong. I grew up in Hong Kong and Seattle. I'm American. This is my country. These are my opportunity. And you tell me to leave because I don't look like you. That's not industry wisdom. Honestly, that's racism. Let's call it what it is. Walsh's face flushes. I'm not racist. I'm being realistic. There's never been an Asian leading man in Hollywood. There's a reason for that. Audiences want to see themselves on screen. They want heroes who look like them. Bruce says, white audiences want white hero. Black audiences want black hero. Asian audiences want Asian hero.
Latino audiences want Latino heroes.
Hollywood has only catered to one of these groups. This isn't audience preference. This is industry bias. And calling it realism doesn't make it any less racist. It makes it more insidious. The audience erupts in cheers. Some applaud, some argue. The hall is divided. But Bruce isn't finished yet. He's been holding this in for years. All the rejection, all the humiliation, all the roles he didn't get because of his face, his accent, his refusal to play stereotypical roles. Now he has a platform. Now there are cameras. Now he has a chance to say what needs to be said. Bruce says, you say Asians can't be leading act. On what basis? What evidence? Hollywood never tried. They never gave us a chance. You can't say that audiences won't accept something that's never been presented before. That's the logic of a vicious cycle. That's using your own prejudice to justify your own prejudice. Walsh tries to respond, but there are cultural differences, language barriers, accent issues. These are legitimate concerns, according to some. Bruce interrupts him. I speak English fluently. I was born in San Francisco. I grew up partly in America. I went to American school. My English is better than many native English speakers. And even if I have an accent, so what? Many European actors have accents.
Sean Connery,
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Nobody tells them to go back to where they came from. The problem isn't the accent. The problem is that you don't want Asian faces in leading roles. Please be honest. Berton finally interjects. Mr. Walsh, I think, but Bruce raises his hand. No, let him speak. Let him say what he really thinks, because this conversation is important. This isn't just about me. This is about every Asian actor. This is about every Asian American who is told they don't belong here. This is about every kid who turns on the television and never sees themselves as a hero. This is important. Would you say the same thing? If someone was racist or said offensive things to you, would you still let them speak? Share your thoughts in the comments. Now on the defensive, Walsh says, I have nothing against Asians. Some of my favorite restaurants are Chinese. I'm just talking about business fact, box office fact. What are they selling? Bruce laughs, not a happy laugh, a bitter, knowing laugh. Says, some of my favorite restaurants are Chinese. You hear yourself? That's the defense? You'll eat our food, but won't let us be heroes in our own stories? You'll consume our culture, but won't respect our humanity. The audience is completely engaged now. This isn't entertainment. This is confrontation. This is change happening in real time. This is old guard meeting new reality. And old guard is losing. Bruce says, let me tell you about box office reality. My films in Hong Kong, where I'm the star, where I'm the hero, they break record. Massive audiences, huge profits, because the films are good, because the action is real, because audiences respond to quality regardless of the actor's race. The problem isn't audience. The problem is gatekeepers like you who decide what audiences want without ever asking them. Bruce says, you represent everything wrong with this industry. You're not protecting audiences. You're protecting your comfort, your worldview, your assumption that America belongs to people who look like you. But America is changing. The world is changing, and you can either change with it or become irrelevant. Walsh, thoroughly beaten, sits down, says nothing, can't say anything. Bruce just dismantled every argument, every excuse, every justification for Hollywood racism. Did it calmly, articulately, devastatingly. The cameras captured all of it. The audience witnessed all of it. And millions watching at home are seeing something they've never seen before. An Asian man refusing to accept his place, refusing to be quiet, refusing to go away. Berton, trying to salvage the interview, says, Bruce, powerful word. What do you hope comes from this conversation? Bruce says, I hope young Asian Americans watching this know they belong. Know they don't have to accept limitations others place on them. Know they can be heroes in their own story. And I hope people like Mr. Walsh, people who control access, who make decisions about who gets opportunities, I hope they examine their assumption, their bias, their definition of what American looks like, because it's changing and they can't stop. The interview continues for another 15 minutes, but that exchange, that 10 seconds of Bruce's response to Walsh's racism, that's what everyone remembers. That's what gets replayed. That's what becomes legendary. After the show, Walsh is approached by colleagues. Some support him, say Bruce was aggressive, disrespectful, should have been grateful for the platform instead of confrontational. Others are quiet, thoughtful, uncomfortable. They've said similar things, thought similar thoughts, but seeing it exposed on television, seeing how ugly it looks, makes them reconsider. Walsh goes home that night, can't sleep, keeps replaying the exchange, keeps hearing Bruce's word. You see my race. I see you're ignorant. It stings. It burns. Because it's true. Walsh always considered himself progressive, liberal, open-minded, but Bruce exposed something Walsh didn't want to see. His own racism, his own gatekeeping, his own participation in a system that excludes based on appearance. Over the next weeks, Walsh receives letters, hundreds of them, most angry, calling him racist, telling him he represents everything wrong with America. Some threatening, but some thoughtful. Some from Asian Americans thanking Bruce for speaking up, sharing their own experiences of exclusion, their own pain at never seeing themselves represented, their own frustration at being told they don't belong in their own country. Walsh reads every letter, every single one, and something shifts inside him. Slowly, uncomfortably, painfully, he starts seeing things he didn't see before, starts noticing the absence of Asian faces in leading roles, starts understanding that absence isn't natural. It's manufactured. It's the result of decisions made by people like him. People who decided what American looks like, who belong, who gets to be the hero. In 1972, Walsh writes an article, a self-examination, confession. He admits he was wrong, admits his question to Bruce was rooted in racism, admits the industry has systematically excluded Asian actors. The article is published, creates controversy. Some praise his honesty. Some say it's too little, too late, but it's something. It's acknowledgement. It's growth. Walsh tries to contact Bruce, to apologize personally, but Bruce is in Hong Kong, filming, building his career outside Hollywood since Hollywood won't let him in. Walsh writes a letter, explains his transformation, apologizes, asks for forgiveness. Bruce never responds. Walsh doesn't know if Bruce read it, doesn't know if Bruce cares, but Walsh needed to send it, needed to acknowledge the harm, needed to try to make amends. July 1973.
Bruce Lee dies.
Cerebral edema, 32 years old. Walsh reads the news, can't believe it, feels like he's been punched. This man he confronted, this man he disrespected, this man who changed his perspective, gone. Too soon, too young, too much left to accomplish. Walsh buys a plane ticket to Hong Kong, attends the funeral, 20,000 people in the street, mourning, grieving, crying. Walsh stands in the back, watching, feeling the weight of loss, feeling his own guilt, his own shame. That television appearance in 1971, that was Bruce's attempt to change Hollywood, to open doors, to create opportunity. And Walsh tried to stop him, tried to send him away, tried to maintain the status quo. After the funeral, Walsh approaches Linda Lee, Bruce's widow, introduces himself, says, "I'm Richard Walsh. I don't know if Bruce mentioned me. I asked him a horrible question on television, told him to go back to China. I was wrong, completely wrong. I've regretted it every day since. I wanted to tell him I'm sorry, but now I can't. So I'm telling you, I'm sorry for what I said, for what I represented, for contributing to the barriers he faced." Linda looks at him, tired, grieving, but gracious, says, "Bruce mentioned you, said you represented a system that needed changing. But he didn't hate you. Bruce didn't hate anyone. He pitted people who lived in ignorance, hoped they'd learn, hoped they'd grow. If you've grown, if you've learned, then Bruce's words weren't wasted." Walsh says, "I have grown. I've learned because of him, because of what he said. He exposed something in me I didn't want to see. And once I saw it, I couldn't ignore it. He changed me in 10 seconds, changed how I see the world, how I see people, how I understand my own bias." Linda says, "Then honor that change. Keep growing, keep learning, keep fighting the biases Bruce fought against. That's how you honor him. Not with apology, with action, with advocacy, with using whatever platform you have to open doors instead of closing them." Walsh nods, wipes his eyes, says, "I will, I promise." And he does. For the next 20 years, Walsh uses his position as a journalist to advocate for Asian representation in media, writes articles, interviews Asian actors, highlights discrimination, calls out Hollywood racism. He becomes an unexpected ally, not because he wants credit, because he owes a debt to Bruce, to the conversation that changed him, to the 10 seconds that exposed his soul. In 1993, Walsh retires, writes one final article, a retrospective on Bruce Lee's impact. He includes the full story, the television appearance, the racist question, Bruce's response, his own transformation. He writes, "Bruce Lee taught me that racism isn't always intentional. Sometimes it's invisible, internalized, disguised as industry wisdom or cultural realism. But it's still racism, still harm, still wrong. And when someone exposes it, when they hold up a mirror and make you see yourself clearly, you have two choices: deny and defend, or acknowledge and change. I'm grateful I chose change. I'm grateful Bruce forced me to choose." The article goes viral before viral is a thing, gets reprinted in newspapers across America, gets discussed on television. gets included in journalism school curricula because it's rare, honest, vulnerable, a powerful person admitting they were wrong, admitting they harmed someone, admitting they needed to change, and showing what that change looks like over decades.
In 2000, Walsh dies.
Heart attack, 78 years old. His obituary mentions his journalism career, his award, his impact, but the most shared anecdote is about Bruce Lee, about the television appearance, about the transformation, about how 10 seconds changed a life. Brandon Lee, Bruce's son, reads the obituary, remembers his father talking about that interview, about Walsh's question, about the response. Bruce always said, don't hate people who are ignorant. Educate them. Give them a chance to be better. Some will stay ignorant, but some will grow. Walsh grew. That's what mattered. Brandon writes a tribute to Walsh, published in an entertainment magazine. He writes, Richard Walsh asked my father a racist question on live television. My father could have destroyed him, could have humiliated him, could have made him a villain forever. Instead, my father spoke truth, with grace, with power, with the hope that truth would penetrate, and it did. Walsh spent the rest of his life proving it did. That's legacy, not just what you accomplish, but who you change, who you inspire to be better. My father changed Walsh. Walsh changed others. That ripple continues. That's immortality. Today, that 1971 television interview is studied in media class, Asian American Studies program, journalism schools, not just for what Bruce said, for how he said it, the calm, the clarity, the refusal to accept racism disguised as realism, the insistence on being seen as fully human, fully American, fully deserving, and it's studied for what happened after, for Walsh's transformation, for proof that confronting racism can change people, that calling it out isn't divisive, it's necessary, that discomfort precedes growth, that 10 seconds of truth can create decades of change. What Bruce did in those 10 seconds wasn't just defend himself. He defended every Asian American told they don't belong, every actor denied opportunities because of their race, every child who never saw themselves as the hero. He spoke for millions, and he spoke with such power, such grace, such undeniable truth that even his opponent became his student. That's mastery, not just of word, of wisdom, of understanding that anger is easy but teaching is hard, that destroying someone feels good but transforming them creates something better, that you can be strong and graceful simultaneously, that calling out racism doesn't require hatred, just honesty, just insistence on human dignity, just refusal to accept less than equal. Drop a comment with where you're watching from. Let's see how far Bruce's message has spread across the world. Walsh spent 30 years as a gatekeeper, keeping people like Bruce out, then spent 20 years trying to tear down gates, trying to let people in, trying to undo damage. That's redemption. Imperfect redemption. Incomplete redemption, but real. Bruce gave Walsh that opportunity, not with forgiveness. There's no evidence they ever spoke again, but with truth. Truth that Walsh couldn't ignore, couldn't deny, couldn't forget. 10 seconds on live television in 1971. A racist question, a devastating response, a life changed, a system exposed.
Millions inspirés.
That's what happened when Bruce Lee refused to be quiet, refused to accept his place, refused to go back where he came from because where he came from was America. And America belonged to him as much as anyone. Today, Asian actors play leading role. Not enough, not equal, but more than in 1971. And every single one owes something to Bruce, to his refusal, to his courage, to those 10 seconds when he could have backed down and instead stood up, when he could have been diplomatic and instead was truthful, when he could have accepted the status quo and instead demanded change. The reporter asked why Bruce didn't go back to China. Bruce answered by staying in America, by fighting for his place, by opening doors for everyone who came after. That's the real response. Not just the words on television. The life lived, the barriers broken, the legacy built. 10 seconds started it, but decades continue it. Forever we'll remember it. That's power. That's impact. That's what happens when you speak truth to racism and refuse to let it stand unchallenged.